helped, that was supposed to help get her elected. It had no impact. We won all 7 swing states. But no. We're thinking about bringing a suit against Powell for incompetence. Because think of it, these aren't outstanding buildings. These are small buildings. He said $4 billion more. It's going to end up costing more than $4 billion. $4 billion. It's the highest price of construction. Again, Democrats, highest price of construction per square foot in the history of the world. There's never been. Gorgeous monuments are built for a much smaller price. So we're thinking about bringing a gross incompetence, what's called gross incompetence lawsuit. It's gross incompetence against Powell. And it was his baby. And the guy's just incompetent. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. He's just a very incompetent man. But we're going to probably bring a lawsuit against him. Thank you all very much.
Look, we're seeing a direct challenge to the financial establishment that's been overdue for decades. The president finally stopped playing nice and moved to neutralize the massive failure over at the Federal Reserve. We're not talking about a polite policy debate anymore. A lawsuit for gross incompetence is now active. It's a shot across the bow to the people who've been playing games with your money while they hide behind their independence in D.C. Standing right there in the gold-leafed halls of Mar-a-Lago, next to Prime Minister Netanyahu, Donald Trump dropped a hammer that's sending shockwaves through every global market. For years, you've had to sit back and watch while your purchasing power was systematically dismantled by a bunch of unelected bureaucrats who don't answer to anyone. Well, the president just labeled the current Fed leadership as a source of intense opposition to the American worker. He's calling their management of the central bank exactly what it is, a total failure that's hurting every single household from coast to coast. This isn't just some dry disagreement over interest rate numbers. It's a legal and moral indictment. Trump is calling out a system he says is being used as a weapon of conditioning against his entire economic plan. The days of sending polite requests are over. We've officially entered the era of legal accountability. The meat of this lawsuit hits on what the administration is calling a grave ethical violation of the Fed's basic mandate. Think about it. They've kept interest rates sky high, even when the data says things are cooling off. The president's argument? The Fed chair is basically running an economic strike against the U.S. government. This legal play is designed to prove those delays in rate cuts weren't about the numbers at all. They were about trying to force permanent changes into our political landscape. Trump's legal team is ready to go to the mat to show the Fed has stopped being a neutral ref and started acting like an agent of intense opposition. Just look at the insane costs of construction or the crushing debt on Main Street. That's the evidence of intentional neglect right there. This is an unprecedented move to neutralize the power of a financial entity that many feel has become the ultimate deep state player. Jerome Powell is now firmly in the crosshairs of an administration that sees his whole tenure as a tragedy for the American middle class. At the press conference, when they asked Trump what he planned to do about the chair's future, his answer was measured, but honestly chilling for the DC elite. The president made it clear, while he'd love an immediate resignation, he's looking at every single legal loophole to make sure the chair is neutralized from doing any more damage to the economy. This isn't just about one guy. It's about those irreversible procedures they've cooked up to protect these bureaucrats from the people who actually vote. To Trump's base, this looks like a long overdue operation to take back control of our own money supply. The battle lines are drawn, and the Fed's independence is facing the most intense heat it's seen in 100 years. The second this news broke, the financial world braced for a massive hit to the status quo. Global investors are scrambling to figure out the risk of a president who refuses to be sidelined by a central bank that thinks it's untouchable. Sure, the critics are screaming that this will cause a tragedy in the bond markets, But Trump's allies see it as the only way to stop the permanent damage that high-interest debt is doing to our future. The strategy here is smart. Use the legal process to drag the Fed's internal communications into the light. They want to expose what they believe is a partisan conditioning of our economy. Whether this lawsuit wins in court or just serves as a massive public pressure tool, the point is made. The president isn't going to let our prosperity be neutralized by a committee of bankers behind closed doors. The fight for the American dollar just moved into the courtroom, and it's going to be a wild ride.